really should get going. That trick I used to repair the Holy Lyre. I mean, the magic I used isn't going to hold forever, you know.
What? You took that Bard! Hey, don't go!
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another Genshin video. So I finally received the character Barbara, and as promised, here's another video of my final thoughts regarding Genshin Impact. So firstly, considering that my whole objective was to obtain the character Barbara, I feel that I should give a rundown on who she is and what she can do. So very quickly, Barbara is obtained by completing the prologue of the game, and her role is that of a healer. From what I gathered, Barbara works in the church or cathedral dedicated to Barbatos, the god of Anemo in the game, which is worshipped by the city. Although she's a primary healer, she's capable of dealing water damage. She seems to be considered an idol or has some form of idol personality, idol meaning celebrity. Her damage isn't that great, but it's not terrible either. She does about 500 healing, which is pretty good considering that my character only has about 2,000 health. I do like that she can heal you over time while you play another character, meaning that if you use her healing ability, it'll form a ring around you that kind of heals you over time, and each healing does about 500 health, and you can switch to your other characters to heal them while this ring is still around you. It will go away after a certain amount of time, and you have to wait for it to recharge, but that's an easy way to get like healing back if you ran out of food or other forms of healing. Okay, now that that quick introduction to Barbara is done, I think it's time I give my final thoughts on the game so far. So I just want to make it clear that I have not beat the game. I've only beat the prologue. So don't come at me. I'm not judging the game fully. I'm only giving my final impressions, as I most likely won't play Genshin beyond this point. Okay, with that in mind, let's get into it. I would like to once again revisit the story of Genshin for my final thoughts review. Story in the game is really important. If a story game has great gameplay but a terrible story, then that completely ruins the game in my opinion, because well, the story is what drives the game and is what I'm trying to accomplish. So story in a story game is very, very important to me, at least. That's like watching a movie or a show with a terrible story but good visuals, good acting. No, if a movie has terrible writing, the movie's terrible. So it's no different for video games. Yes, the gameplay can be more fun than the story, but a bad story ruins the game because you can't immerse yourself or even care about the story, so why even playing it? And very rarely does a story game have such impressive gameplay that you would want to play that with a terrible story. Now I think Genshin's story is good. I still think it's pretty generic, but still good. I did see a lot of the plot twists and shocking reveals coming the second they appear on the screen, but that's just because I've seen so many games, shows, movies, and such make a similar story to Genshin's. There's only so much you can do in this type of genre, so of course a lot of it's going to be predictable. Like for example, the second I saw the bard talking to the dragon, I already knew he and the dragon had some type of connection, and that the bard wasn't just some ordinary human. Then when I saw him again at the statue in front of the cathedral, I knew he was supposed to be the god the statue was depicting. So I obviously already knew that he was the god Barbatos. I don't know, to me it was just very obvious. I didn't expect or predict the brother to be evil, but I wasn't shocked to see it. Again, I'm more so just used to that trying to be a twist where oh my gosh, the brother or the sister went evil and then disappeared. For example, one anime called Fire Force has a very similar plotline where the brother loses his family in a fire, and so he thinks everyone died. But later on it's revealed that his little baby sibling actually survived. And shocker, the baby sibling is evil. So I'm assuming that after the goddess took the brother, that she may have corrupted him, erased his memories, or it's just taken him over. So even though I didn't predict that or see it coming, it wasn't a really big shock to me because I've seen stuff like that before. It's more so I just become desensitized to it as I've seen it happen so much. I don't want to judge the story too harshly because I didn't finish all of it, but so far it has been very predictable. Besides the predictability, it's a good story. I do like the story with Dvalin, and it's cool that we managed to help him figure out his place in the world. Because Dvalin is honestly my favorite character, as he has the best design in the game. Speaking of my favorite character, let's talk about the characters now. Everyone has a clear motive, and they all take actions to achieve their goals. You want to find your sibling, so you work with the city in order to gain their help. John wants to protect her city, so she offers to help you with your quest so long as you help her. Barbados wants to help figure out what's going on with Dvalin, so he works with the city and you in order to help his friend. Everyone has their own motive for what they're doing, and everyone benefits. So I do like that everyone actually has a reason to partner up and help each other, and that I'm not helping just out of the goodness of my heart. As cruel or as mean as that sounds, it's kind of lame and boring when the character is just doing this for no reason. So I do like that you actually have a reason. The motives of the bad guy are unknown at this point, but I can assume is that they just want to take over the world. You know, generic bad guy stuff. The villains are kind of underwhelming, but I do like the main goddess, her design mainly. She seems threatening, and I'm kind of bummed she hasn't shown up again. I'm kind of curious as to what Paimon actually is, because that one I'm not too sure of. I want to know why she's able to fly around, why she can just disappear and reappear, why she has, a floating picture of the cosmos on her, why she looks like a baby. In terms of personality though, Paimon's alright. She's meant to be more of the vocal protagonist for your relatively quiet character. I'm gonna be honest, every other character that I did not name is someone who I really don't care about. For example, Lisa, she's there to fit the typical adult mom flirty trope in most animes. So, I like the majority of the characters in Genshin, but most of them aren't really that interesting to me, which is sad to say, but it's just the truth. There was one side character that I really liked, Zhongli. I liked her whole cooking motive. She actually had a different reason as to why she was doing things, other than just, being some type of officer or some knight. She's just doing stuff because she wants to cook, and so she has to hunt in order to cook. So I do like that. Also, she was fun to play because you do get to play her in a trial when you do her quest. She was pretty fun. I like her personality for the most part. She's that typical hyper little girl in anime, and who's always hungry. She reminds me kind of a Goku in a bit, where she only fights because it's fun, and she's really good at it because she was the most fun to play as, and she just eats a lot. Except the difference is that she can actually cook, and she's kind of smart, but that's fine. I'm kind of sad you don't get to play as her again, unless you buy her or do another quest for her, but that's how it is. Let's get to my revised thoughts based on the original video. So this will be a quick little one because I don't have much to say about this, as my thoughts really haven't changed so much as compared to the old video, so this won't be that long. Initially when I played Genshin, I thought the gameplay was pretty generic and kind of slow, and sadly I still do believe that in a way. Again, it's not terrible, but it's not really anything special. Also, the boss fights weren't really all that fun or unique either. For example, the fight against Dvalin was a simple move left or move right to avoid his hand and hit it when he smashes his hand down. It's simple. And then there was also another sequence where he would fly at you, but again, besides that, he didn't do anything different. He just smashed the ground, leave his hand there or paw while you attack it, and then you would break a crystal, and then you do that for the other hand, and then you would do that for his head. It was a really easy boss fight. I honestly wasn't even paying full attention, if I'm being fully honest, yet I still beat it on my first try. The Rock Guardians are just bullet spongy. They take a lot of hits. There's not really a character that you have to counter them. I assume Barbara would be a good counter since she does water damage and they're made of fire, but of course I didn't have her at the time. There are these other Q bosses that are mostly side quests, and you can go around and fight them. They were kind of hard, but that's because they were higher levels. I didn't beat any of them because they're higher levels, but they are unique to fight. So yeah, the boss fights or mini boss fights, they're not really that special, but they're not awful either. Again, I just want to keep prefacing that even though I think a lot of it is kind of simple, it's not bad. Visuals are still good. There are newer, more interesting environments as I progressed. The Volan's home lair was unique in a way where it was mainly like a land that was encompassed by a tornado, and you had to kind of like fly around this broken tower or walk around this broken tower and like try to get to the middle, try to fix it, I think it was. And then later on, it made the boss fight with the Volan more interesting because of the fact that you were kind of in a tornado. But besides that, that didn't really make the boss fight more fun. It just made it more interesting looking. The music is still kind of to me. It wasn't really there. The only real time I actually enjoyed the music was like, damn, this is some good music, was in the very beginning cutscene. But besides that, the music has been You know, I didn't really notice it for the most part. So I don't really have high praise for the music, sadly. Now, since the reason I played this is because it's a game from East Asia, I think I should talk about influences or relations to East Asia that I noticed in Genshin. Well, obviously, the visual art style is obviously inspired by Japanese anime, which is interesting considering Genshin is a game developed by a Chinese corporation. Almost every character fits a trope that is common within anime, such as the red guy who controls fire. He's very obviously the skilled, no-nonsense guy that usually clashes with the main character in most anime. Except he doesn't clash with us, he mostly works with us. So that's different in a way, but even then he still follows that trope. Because, you know, so even though he doesn't clash with us, he still does clash with the main group of the city, which is led by John, or Jean. Or Paimon. Very clearly the cheeky sidekick that follows someone they respect. You know, characters like that one girl who follows Orihime in Bleach. Or Hinata from Naruto. Or Sakura from Naruto. How she follows around Sasuke and cheers him on. Or Ino from Naruto. Or even when the main character is about to enter a fight with a really tough opponent, and the opponent has fangirls or fanboys hyping them up, only for the opponent to get one-shotted by the main character. So aside from the obvious inspiration from Japan, there isn't any other East Asian influence that I noticed. I'm sure there's a ton, but I personally didn't notice it, so I can't say any other ones. In fact, I felt it was more Western inspired. Things like the cathedral, the knights, all scream medieval Western to me, but that's just me personally. So, those are my final opinions on Genshin Impact. In conclusion, I think from what I have played that Genshin is honestly a fairly good game, and I 100% understand why it's popular, as it is. It appeals to an obvious group, and even if you don't associate with that group, you can still find ways to have fun with it. Now even though I said I think Genshin is a good game, I have to be brutally honest and say that it's very unlikely that I would go back and play Genshin. First off, the PS4 I use to play Genshin isn't mine. Secondly, I don't really want to play another grindy game right now, as I'm already playing games like Destiny 2, Overwatch, MW2 is about to come out, and so I don't really have time or the want to include another grind game into there. Thirdly, it's honestly just not a game meant for me. I'm not a big anime game fan. I like to watch some anime and love some good anime games, but Genshin sadly isn't one of those games. So yeah, I think Genshin's a good game, just not a good game for me. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been a journey playing the prologue of Genshin Impact. I hope you all enjoyed the video and hope to see you next time with some epic Fortnite clips. Bye bye.